Today in the livestock market, it seems that the cattle was firming today. There's a little bit of cash trade and the prices were really set for the day. The futures are really holding steady after yesterday's big sell-off. But the futures are heavily oversold right now. We expect that, perhaps we were going to get somewhat of a rebound, but it didn't quite happen. Maybe just moving sideways. It's the end of the month, end of the week. I think Monday will give us a little bit more of a direction as to what's going on. The weather has been so cold and wet in the north and in the Midwest that it's been having trouble getting the grilling season going. That also is weighing on meat prices right now, or even just participation and just some consumer demand right now. The feeder cattles were a little bit lower. That follow-through selling is really pressuring the market, so much so that we're almost limit down on the feeders. They normally don't diverge as much with the live cattle markets, but it kind of tells us that some of the idea that we're going to be moving lower is really starting to gain some momentum on the downside. Also, with the big rising prices of the grains, it definitely is going to add and affect the feed prices. And unless we get some more domestic demand or even foreign demand, it's going to be very difficult to get these prices back off the ground. And of course, the trade war and adding to the trade war, even with Mexico, is affecting these markets. And speaking of that, the hogs were weaker today. The tariff threat is just huge and just really hurts this market. With Mexico and China being the two largest consumers of pork, makes it super difficult for the U.S. to keep moving some of their product. But I think that right now, the fact that the China war moving to the back burner almost seems unheard of. And I think that it's the end of the month, maybe the grilling season, that might start to push things a little bit higher. But make no mistake that the African swine fever is still an issue, and it's still, showing its head a little bit. China has come to the U.S. to buy some pork, and yet the futures are lower because there is some concern that these trade wars are going to go on for a lot longer. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we can kind of manage this and keep moving the products forward, and we can find a resolution to these trade wars.